Paris, July 1789. In the late 18th century, France was one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. Yet, beneath the glitter of royal ceremonies and aristocratic luxury, the country was deeply unstable. King Louis XVI ruled from the magnificent palace of Versailles, a place so extravagant it seemed designed to convince visitors that monarchy itself was divine. Hallways gleamed with mirrors and gold leaf. Noblemen attended elaborate balls while fountains danced in geometrically perfect gardens. But outside Versailles, another France existed. Farmers struggled through poor harvests. Urban workers spent most of their wages simply trying to buy bread. Winters were harsh, food shortages severe, and taxation crushing. The social system divided people into three estates. The first estate, the clergy, the second estate, the nobility, and the third estate, everyone else. And everyone else meant almost the entire population. The third estate paid the majority of taxes, while the privileged estates enjoyed exemptions and influence. Resentment spread through villages, cafes, and salons like invisible smoke. Meanwhile, France faced enormous debt. The monarchy had spent heavily supporting the American Revolutionary War against Britain. Ironically, by helping another revolution succeed, France weakened itself financially while exposing its own soldiers and thinkers to revolutionary ideals. The nation began to feel like an elegant theatre set, with flames quietly spreading backstage. Long before the Bastille fell, writers had already begun attacking the intellectual foundations of absolute monarchy. The 18th century was the age of Enlightenment, a movement built around reason, science, skepticism, and human rights. Voltaire mocked corruption and religious intolerance with razor-sharp wit. Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued that political authority should come from the people rather than kings. Montesquieu promoted the separation of governmental powers. Their books circulated across France despite censorship. In candlelit salons, aristocrats and intellectuals debated liberty, equality, and sovereignty. Some discussions felt philosophical, others felt explosive. Rousseau wrote, "L'homme est né libre et partout il est dans les fers." Those words traveled like sparks through dry grass. Even art reflected the growing unrest. Painters increasingly moved away from purely aristocratic themes. The emerging style of neoclassicism emphasized civic virtue, sacrifice, and republican ideals. One artist in particular would later become deeply connected to the revolution, Jacques-Louis David. His works transformed politics into visual drama. Paintings such as The Death of Marat turned revolutionary figures into almost saint-like martyrs. The revolution would not only change governments, it would change the language of art itself. The Bastille was originally built in the 14th century to defend Paris from invasion during the 100 Years' War. Over time, however, it became a state prison. By 1789, its military importance had faded, but symbolically it remained terrifying. Kings used lettres de cachet, royal orders allowing imprisonment without trial. A person could disappear into the Bastille because they criticized the monarchy, offended a nobleman, or embarrassed the wrong person politically. Writers filled Europe with stories about the prison, some exaggerated wildly, describing secret torture chambers and endless darkness. Whether true or not, the Bastille became a psychological monster in the French imagination. Ironically, when revolutionaries stormed it, only 7 prisoners were inside. Yet symbols matter. The Bastille represented arbitrary royal power, and destroying it meant destroying the illusion that the monarchy was untouchable. Paris woke tense on the morning of July 14th. Rumors spread rapidly. The king had dismissed the popular finance minister, Jacques Necker. Royal troops appeared to be surrounding the city. Citizens feared violent repression. Crowds gathered searching for weapons. First, they seized muskets from the Hôtel des Invalides, but they still needed gunpowder, and much of it was stored inside the Bastille. Thousands of Parisians surged towards the fortress. The governor, Bernard-René de Launay, attempted negotiations. Confusion followed. Nobody fully controlled the situation anymore. Then gunfire erupted. Smoke rolled through the streets. Cannon blasts echoed across Paris. Citizens armed with muskets, knives, axes, and improvised weapons attacked the massive prison. The fighting lasted for hours. Finally, the Bastille surrendered. The governor was captured and later killed by the crowd. His head was placed on a pike and paraded through the streets, a horrifying image that revealed both the passion and brutality of the revolution. Almost immediately, workers began dismantling the Bastille stone by stone. Souvenirs made from its ruins spread across France and beyond. La fumée couvre toute la rue. Le peuple attaque la Bastille. Tu crois qu'ils vont gagner? Aujourd'hui, tout est possible. The fall of the Bastille electrified France. Across the countryside, peasants attacked feudal records and manor houses during a wave of panic and rebellion known as the Great Fear. Soon afterward, the National Assembly abolished feudal privileges. Then came one of the revolution's most important documents, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. It proclaimed liberty, equality before the law, freedom of speech, and national sovereignty. Many of its ideas influenced constitutions and democratic movements worldwide. Yet, the revolution was complicated and contradictory. Women marched to Versailles demanding bread. Political clubs formed. Rival factions battled for influence. Foreign monarchies feared revolutionary ideas spreading beyond France. And gradually, the revolution radicalized. No figure became more controversial than Queen Marie Antoinette. Pamphlets portrayed her as extravagant, manipulative, and disconnected from ordinary people. Many stories about her were exaggerated or completely invented. The famous phrase, "Let them eat cake," was almost certainly never spoken by her. But revolutions feed on symbols as much as facts. To hungry citizens, the Queen became a representation of aristocratic excess. Portraits of Marie Antoinette changed dramatically over time. Earlier paintings showed elegance and refinement. Revolutionary imagery transformed her into a villainous caricature. Politics reshaped art with astonishing speed. The French Revolution transformed not only government but also aesthetics, theatre, fashion, music, and public ritual. Artists painted revolutionary martyrs. Writers celebrated citizenship and liberty. Public festivals replaced royal ceremonies. Even clothing became political. The sans-culottes, radical working-class revolutionaries, rejected aristocratic knee breeches in favor of long trousers. Fashion itself became a battlefield of ideology. Neoclassical art flourished because it echoed the values of Republican Rome: sacrifice, civic duty, and heroism. Jacques-Louis David emerged as one of the revolution's visual architects. His paintings often felt theatrical, frozen at moments of unbearable emotional intensity. Later, the Romantic movement would reinterpret the revolution with even greater emotional force. Eugène Delacroix painted Liberty Leading the People, one of the most famous revolutionary paintings in history. Liberty strides across barricades, holding the French tricolour flag while smoke swirls behind her. She is not merely a woman, she is revolution personified. The painting feels alive even now, like history still breathing beneath wet paint. Pourquoi les artistes peignent-ils la révolution? Parce qu'elle change le monde, et aussi les rêves des gens. The revolution eventually entered one of its darkest phases. Fear of enemies, foreign invasions, and internal conspiracies intensified political violence. Under leaders such as Maximilien Robespierre, thousands were executed during the Reign of Terror. The guillotine became its defining symbol. Crowds gathered to watch execution in public squares. Former nobles, political rivals, and even revolutionary themselves faced death. Eventually, Robespierre too was executed. The revolution had begun by destroying tyranny, yet it revealed how easily idealism can slide into extremism. History moved like a pendulum swinging between hope and fear. Out of revolutionary chaos eventually arose Napoleon Bonaparte. A brilliant military commander, Napoleon seized power and crowned himself emperor in 1804. At first glance, this seemed like the revolution had failed, yet many revolutionary changes survived. Feudalism remained abolished, legal equality expanded, nationalism intensified, and revolutionary ideas spread across Europe. Napoleon carried both revolution and empire across the continent, like a storm wrapped in gold braid and cannon smoke. Although the storming of the Bastille occurred in 1789, Bastille Day was officially established as a national holiday much later, in 1880. France at that time was governed by the Third Republic, which wanted a national celebration capable of uniting the country after decades of political instability. The date symbolized both the storming of the Bastille and the Fête de la Fédération of 1790, a massive celebration of national unity held 1 year after the revolution began. That event brought together citizens, soldiers, clergy, and even the king in an attempt to reconcile France. For a brief moment, unity seemed possible. Modern Bastille Day combines history, patriotism, spectacle, and celebration. In Paris, the largest event is the military parade along the Champs-Élysées. It is one of the oldest and most famous military parades in the world. Soldiers march with breathtaking precision, while cavalry units, armored vehicles, and fighter jets pass overhead. The jets leave blue, white, and red trails across the sky like giant brushstrokes painted over Paris itself. French presidents traditionally attend the ceremony alongside foreign dignitaries and military guests. But Bastille Day is not only formal, it is also deeply festive. Throughout France, villages host dances and communal dinners. Town squares fill with concerts. Families gather for picnics. Firefighters organize famous bal des pompiers. Fireworks illuminate city skylines. The celebrations often continue late into the night. Near the Eiffel Tower, fireworks explode in choreographed waves of color, while orchestras perform classical music beneath the summer sky. The atmosphere feels part festival, part memory ceremony, part enormous open-air theatre. Regarde les avions. Les couleurs du drapeau sont magnifiques. Chaque année, Paris devient magique le 14 juillet. Food plays a major role in Bastille Day celebrations. Families and friends gather outdoors for long summer meals, featuring French classics such as baguette, crêpes, ratatouille, quiche Lorraine, macaron. Music fills the streets. Accordion melodies drift from cafes. jazz bands perform in plazas, and inevitably crowds sing the Marseillaise. The anthem was composed during the Revolution and remains one of the most powerful national songs in the world. Its lyrics are intense, emotional, and martial. Unlike gentle ceremonial hymns, La Marseillaise sounds like history marching forward with drums and banners. The French Revolution became one of literature's great obsessions. Victor Hugo explored revolution, poverty, justice, and rebellion in Les Misérables. Though focused on the 1832 Paris uprising, the novel inherits the emotional legacy of 1789. Hugo's Paris is alive with barricades, idealists, students, and ordinary citizens struggling toward dignity. Meanwhile, Charles Dickens portrayed the French Revolution in A Tale of Two Cities. He famously wrote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." The line captures the paradox of revolution perfectly. Hope and terror often walk side by side. Poets, playwrights, philosophers, and historians continue debating the revolution even today. Some see it as the birth of modern democracy. Others focus on its violence and instability. Perhaps it is both. Tu préfères les livres sur la Révolution ou les films? Les livres, ils montrent les émotions des gens. Moi, j'aime les deux. Bastille Day is celebrated not only in France but across the world wherever French culture has traveled. In New Orleans, French-inspired celebrations include music, food, and festivals. In Montreal, Francophone communities honor French heritage and language. French embassies worldwide host receptions and cultural events. The holiday has become a global symbol of liberty, citizenship, and French cultural identity. Le feu d'artifice de Léo. Léo a 10 ans et habite à Lyon. Le matin du 14 juillet, il entend des tambours dans la rue. « Papa, le défilé commence !» crie-t-il. Sa famille va au centre-ville pour regarder les soldats et les avions. Léo aime beaucoup les avions qui dessinent des couleurs dans le ciel. L'après-midi, il mange dans un parc avec des amis. Il partage du pain, du fromage et des crêpes. Le soir, toute la ville attend les feux d'artifice. Quand les premières lumières explosent dans le ciel, Léo sourit. « C'est le plus beau jour de l'été », dit-il. Bastille Day is more than a historical anniversary. It represents questions that remain deeply relevant today. What is freedom? Who holds power? What responsibilities come with citizenship? Can societies truly become more equal? Every July the 14th, France celebrates not perfection but aspiration. The holiday remembers a moment when ordinary people believed history could be changed by human action. The Bastille itself is gone, its stones were scattered long ago. Yet symbolically it still stands. In literature, in paintings, in political ideals, in songs echoing through Parisian streets beneath fireworks bursting like constellations reborn. The revolution remains one of history's greatest reminders that ideas can become stronger than walls. If you enjoyed this journey through French history, revolution, literature, art and culture, subscribe for more immersive videos on France, language learning, folklore, traditions, and European history. And tell us in the comments, if you could travel back to one moment during the French Revolution, what would you want to witness?